Hi everyone, it's Plastic EP here. As you know, we got so many fantastic shows happening. Now listen, you're not tuning into aliens. It's actually Plastic EP, Mr. Shampoo and Sabine. And I got to tell you, how are you, Mr. Shampoo?
I'm doing great, and it's good to see you too, Sabine.
Yes,
Hey,
Sabine,
Mr.
how you going? We love your glasses. Are you feeling groovy, Sabine?
I am. I'm very groovy. Thank you.
That's what I like. I like groovy people, so let's get groovy.
Hey bananas, we think you're groovy. Hey bananas, we watch a movie. Yeah. Drive your tune buggies everywhere, just going crazy without a care. Hey bananas, we think you're groovy.
Now, not only do we think you're groovy, we know that everybody around the world is watching. Go straight to the top of the charts.
Go straight to the top of the charts. Go straight to the top of the charts. From 10 to 1, you gotta show number 1 when you go straight to the top of the charts. Top of the charts, top of the charts. That song's gonna climb to the top. Go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top, right to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts.
Right, now before we start, I know everyone's busy. I want to show you some stuff that no one's seen. Watch. Plastic EP was lucky enough to go on eBay and buy 4 Frank Morton 1966 or 67 sketches of the monkeys, right? There's Peter. Who loves Peter? I want you all to text in who you love. There's Peter. There's Mickey. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried, right? There's Mike. Our old man must have someone who did it, right? And of course, hang on a minute. Do we make a mistake? We got 2 Peters. You know who's missing?
Davey.
Davey's missing. What's happened to Davey? You know there's a lot of Davey fans out there. Here's Davey now. We love Davey. How great is that, Sabine?
Beautiful. Can I show something now?
And it cost you $1 for each one. And back at that time, $1 was quite a lot of money, Sabine, in 1967.
Of course.
I'm a baby boomer, so I should know. Now, Mr. Nathan, you weren't born. Nathan Lou, Mr. Shampoo, you weren't born then.
Well, I was.
What, in 67?
Even before 67.
All right, let's not give away your age. Now, listen, let's talk about the fantastic show. What do you think about the new show, Mr. Shampoo, go straight to the top of the charts?
Well, I'm not sure if I go straight to the top or if I'm bananas or groovy. I think I've been watching you guys and learning about the monkeys and, all the stuff that's Sabine, a huge collection. And I love your glasses. They're groovy.
Yes, Sabine, your glasses are groovy. Where did you pick them up from?
A friend bought them. We have once a year, we have this St. George's Day parade. Of course, it hasn't been happening for the last 2 years. But it was on a stall with a lot of, I don't know, jingle jangle stuff. I don't know, a lot of plastic jewelry and specs. So I bought some Union Jack ones too. I'll wear those next time. But my friend.
Now, I'm glad you said jingle jangle because, that's the Archie second single. And we had Ron Dainty on the show. So he had, first of all, Sugar Sugar, went to number 1 in 1969. Then the second single was Jingle Jangle, well said for your glasses, which relates to his second hit song. We just had Gary Puckett on the show. Young girl. I love the guy. That was a great show. We got so many big artists coming on, Mr. Shampoo. You got no idea, but let me tell you, I love talking about these guys, right? The Fab Four. We love them.
Yay.
That's their Christmas CD. It's fantastic. I love it. Some fantastic songs here. And they also got a vinyl album, right, which I must show you. Right? That's the vinyl album. Look at that.
I've never
And
seen
look what it
them.
writes there. I don't show you stuff, but I write it. You see that? Can you read that out, Mrs. Shampoo?
Says, to plastic, we love you forever, or something like that. Yeah,
I think it says we love you, yeah. All right. Now look, the Fab Four, the #1 tribute Beatles band in the world. This album here, I can't speak highly of it. It's got my favourite songs on it. You'll love this too, Sabine. You've got to get a copy. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Right. Hark, the Herald Angels Sing. Good King Winces. Right. Frosty the Snowman. That's a song that Mr. Shampoo would know about because it's freezing in Canada and it gets snow there too.
I've heard that album.
Santa Claus is coming to town. That's my other big hit.
Yeah.
Right. Blue Christmas. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. Right. Rocking around the Christmas tree. I'm sure you'll be hopping around the Christmas tree, Mr. Shampoo, right? Let me tell you, go out, thefab4.com. Don't wait for Christmas. You buy the vinyl. You buy the CD. I love the guys. Big shout out to Ron and Artie. We love them both. And Artie has a live segment that he does where he plays his instruments and does songs. Everybody's watching that too. You watch that too, don't you, Mr. Shampoo?
Oh, I love the Fab Four, and I've heard that Christmas album, and that's what we play at Christmas now because it's so great. People go, sounds like the Beatles, right? And it's really smart.
Yep, it's done the Beatle sounding background music. It's just so amazing. I just love it. So all the best to the Fab Four. Go to www.thefab4.com. Now, back to our show. What have you got to show us, Sabine? You've got a couple of collectibles there you want to show us.
Well, I don't know if it's collectible, but it's a special edition. Is that I got the Monkey's Head soundtrack, and it's silver. It's a silver disc. So I got that recently from a record store. It was the last one. And then I just wanted to show my picture of Mike, really, because that's my picture of Mike. Can you see it?
Yeah, did you draw it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at Mike. Move it across a bit. Move it across a bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Lift him up. You've got to get him in the frame. Move it across one way. I'll tell you where to stop. Keep moving. Yeah. You've got to see Mike. Yeah, up. That's it. There's Mike there. Fantastic. A big hello to Mike Nesmith if you're watching.
Yeah. And then I've got this picture of Davey, which he signed for me that I've framed now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Now, can you tell me the story about Annabelle? When she was young, she did some sketches for you or something. What was that about? Tell me.
Jessica. You mean Jessica?
Yeah, Jessica.
Yeah, so in 1986, 85, 86, Davey was at Godspell at the Fortune Theatre in Covent Garden. And I went along to the premiere. And in the bar afterwards, Davey and the cast, they were all mingling with everybody, talking to everyone. And I just go up to everybody and say, hi, I'm just, I'm not shy. And so
a true rock chick.
Well, I got talking to Davey. He was very sweet. Very gracious with the time to talk to everybody, not just me. And out of the conversation, because I said I was working for a new magazine, and he must have thought, promotion, publicity, or something like that, So he said, "Why don't you come along to rehearsals for the Albert Hall reunion gig? Just speak to my management, and they'll give you a pass." So I went along, and I was sitting there with Jessica, who would have been about 3 or 4 years old at the time, and she was sitting with me because I think Davey's wife couldn't be there. So I was looking after her. I was just sitting with her, and she was drawing on my notepad, and I still have her drawings. So I'd like to get a message to her one day and just say, "Hey, Jessica, look, this is a good memory, a really special memory." Yeah, and then Davey always kept in touch after that from Beavertown right up until he passed. And
have you got the notepad there alongside you somewhere, or is it somewhere else?
I've packed it away with I'll have to go and get it, as I've got all my monkey stuff put away again with all my annuals and everything. Do you want me to go and get it?
if you can get it, just go get it for a minute while I show my fantastic Monkeys poster. Now, I got a Monkeys poster that I bought that you're going to freak out with when you see this. Are you ready, Mr. Shampoo?
I'm ready, Plastic.
Me too. I just got to organise this. When I've got a background, no one can see anything. Anyway, here's a Monkeys poster now. This one is a fantastic poster. Must frame it. Just got it. I love it. This is fantastic, right? Mint condition. I've got to be so careful with it. Right, hang on. I just love it because it's in colour. Let me get the right way. Mike, Mickey, Davey, Peter, tell me, how great is that?
You know, it's very, very nice. And, you know, I've been watching the show and all your guests, I don't know where you guys get all this stuff. It's incredible how it's all survived. I mean, whoever did that poster did an amazing job. It looks kind of like Rubber Soul, the feel of the pictures. It's so rich and...
Yeah, but it's 1967 personality poster where I got the black and white one. So that's got to be framed today. I can't leave that not framed because I've waited so many years to get this poster. Seriously.
I've never seen anything like it. I've seen lots of posters, but I haven't seen that one. That's beautiful. You should show it again.
What I might do is I might stand up and show it one more time. Just wait because it's too good not to see. It says personality poster 1967. If I see that, where do you get that? Look. It's not black and white. This is a treasure. Somebody's kept this since 67.
It's a survivor.
How great is that?
It's a survivor.
Yeah, it's a survivor. That's right.
You're lucky to get it. I mean, how many?
Yeah, I think so too.
How many of those have you seen?
No, I've seen them, but you can't get them. You know what I mean? It's like hard. We're waiting for Sabine still to come
There
back.
you go.
Okay, it's all right. I found it.
We're here.
Okay, so here's the Jessica Lillian Jones. Okay, and then she was just, and these were all from my notepad because she didn't have any drawing paper. She was only about 3 or 4, and she was bored. You know, Dad was rehearsing, and she didn't know what to do, so I gave her a pen and my notepad, and you know, she's like drawing all kinds of things like houses and animals and aeroplanes and I don't know, all kinds of, and I just kept it all. It's just, you know, I mean, wow. So David was very sweet. He said, thanks so much for minding her, you know, and...
Put it this way, Sabine, if you met Jessica, would you give it back to her? I'd give the drawings back to her.
Of course. I would love to, you know.
That's great.
But David was very sweet. And then he gave me a ticket for the Albert Hall. And there's Davey. That's the Fortune Theatre. Can you see that? That's...
Godspell. Amazing.
Yeah. So, you know, and out of that, you know, he kept in touch from Beavertown and very sweet, funny guy. Yeah. So
fantastic. This is riveting. Now, I just want to tell everybody, we're going to talk about our pages now before we go. Mr. Shampoo, can you tell everybody now, give us a report on what's happening on Plastic EP's Non-Stop Disco page? Tell everybody where to go, what's happening. I love your posts. I love the music. Just tell everyone about it.
Well, you know, it's something that Plastic had mentioned to me about a year ago that he was going to, you know, bring disco back because, you know, it's such great stuff. And, you know, everybody's welcome to post their favorite disco songs, and people are. And it's great to hear some disco that I've never heard. You know, Kit O'Toole, you know, she's posting, you know, Chicago soul, and you know, it's great to see that she's a big fan of disco. And, you know, you've got a lot of these guys that are on the Monkey Show. They're also posting disco. You got Mark Arnold doing Disco Duck. I mean, you got to Disco
I love
Duck. You know, it was a huge song. And, you know, people don't realize that disco is still out there, but they don't call it disco. They'll call it something else. But really, it's, you know, really just dance music that's great.
Yeah,
and what I find is if you're asleep and it's 3 a.m., Just go straight to your phone and start listening to disco music. So I want everyone to join up now on Plastic EP's non-stop disco, because the disco is going 24 hours a day. And let me tell you now, Sabine, we go straight to the charts. We had a fantastic guest, Michael Armstrong. I did that interview yesterday. He's great. Matter of the Heart, that's his new single. And then he's got OJ, we call it OJ, his album coming out, but it's actually called Oh Hi.
Oh Hi.
Oh Hi.
And do you know where that comes from? I found out today.
Please tell me.
It's an area in California.
That's where he was. He went there and he met his friend, Ben Folds, and he's got photos on the net, and he got inspired.
Yeah. So there's always a meaning behind a name. I get very intrigued about names.
I know I could go to Disneyland, or I could go somewhere to Florida, and I could come up with a few names too, you know. I could go to a hot dog stand and get, you know, inspiration. You never know where the inspiration comes from, do you, Mr. Shampoo? Tell us about your guitar there.
Well, I just want to show you this guitar. This is kind of the guitar that the Beatles and the Monkees used, you know, the Rickenbacker 12-string. And, you know, while Sabine was away, Plastic, you know that she missed your debut of that poster, and I'm sure Sabine would want to see it. You going to show it to her?
The poster that, what, the one that took 52 years to get 4 autographs?
Oh, I've seen it, yeah.
She's seen it. She's seen everything.
The one that you just showed. The one that, because she went away to go get her pad there.
Oh, no, the orange one. She'll watch the replay. Don't worry. Have you seen my 1967 Monkees poster, Sabine?
Yeah, go on then. Let's
I'll show it to you. Wait a minute. Now I'm going to show you. Wait.
I did that for you, Sabine.
Oh, thank you.
It's beautiful.
1967.
Oh, yeah.
Personality poster.
Yeah, that's really
Took me a
groovy.
long time to get it. It's in orange with the back. It's got the psychedelic going through it.
Yeah. I love the colours.
No, the colours, it's actually orange, right? Just so you know.
Okay. As opposed to the black and white one that you showed us before.
Yeah, that's this one. That's the same year. That's the one took me 52 years to get signed by all 4. But as I said, this is the other poster from 67. So I can't wait to frame both posters in my recording studio, so that I'll get a buzz out of that, seriously.
That's going to have pride of place, isn't it?
Of course. Now, I want to say a quick hello, everyone, from Felix, bassist. And also want to say we got Ran on here. We love Ran. Ran.
Oh, Ran.
Go, you guys. See you go to OJ all the time. So now, Sabine, can you keep talking for a minute about the show? Go straight to the top of the charts, but for a minute, can you just read that? Hi, Sabine in Plastic.
Right, so
Ojai Valley of the Moon, small city in California. All right, keep reading
it. That's my friend Anne, yeah. Okay,
keep talking about our pages now and go straight to the top of the charts.
Okay, so we've set up 3 pages, 60s, 70s, 80s, and we're asking, well, all friends, all Facebook people, post your favorite tunes. Anything that makes you happy, feel good tunes. This is what we need. We need fun tunes, keep us happy. So just go to the pages, go straight to the top of the charts, 60s, 70s, 80s. Get posting from YouTube. It's for all our benefits. It's to keep us happy. You know, that's the whole thing. It's tonic for the soul. We need this right now more than ever. Music is so important, so vital, and sing along. You know, because singing is good for the soul too. If you think you can't sing, it doesn't matter. You're in your own home. Just blast it out, sing along, dance. You know, you've got the disco going on. We can say, hey, we can dance, we can sing, we could do anything, right? We could do everything. So this is the whole thing. Let's bring joy. Let's bring laughter. Let's bring, disco and all the eras that we love so much. Just let's blast them out and just enjoy. And that's the whole premise of what we're doing here. Let's just bring joy to the world. I mean, this is what we're doing.
Like that song, Joy to the World.
I know, isn't it uplifting?
All the boys and girls. Now, I want everybody, as I said, You know what's funny? I thought the 80s page wouldn't do too good, but the 80s page is actually beating the 70s and the 60s.
Yeah.
How do you work that out?
But the thing is, you see, the 80s, we've got the synth tunes, we've got the new romantics going on. You know, there's a whole lot going on in the 80s. The 70s too, because we have the glam rock and early Bowie and, you know, and all that. So, but the 80s, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised.
Now, tell me the response that you're getting, because people now, they've got to join so you can allow them on.
So you're talking about the numbers?
Yeah.
I haven't checked them lately. But we did have, it was something like 48 for the 70s, 56 for the 80s, and the 60s were lagging behind, actually, something that in the 30s. So, and that's surprising too, because there are so many great 60s sounds, as we know. And actually, I think you were hoping the 60s would storm ahead. And so far, it's early days. It's early days. So, you know, we'll just have to go with the flow with this.
Exactly. And we're going to go with the flow because in a few minutes we've got a very exciting guest, and I want you to stay there, Mr. Shampoo, because I know you're going to be impressed, right? I'm not going to say who the guest is because the guest is actually a surprise. So you're going to really like this a bit. And I like your glasses, groovy. If you want to take them off, it's all right.
No, I'm quite happy to keep them on, actually.
That's right. Now, listen, we've got a very special guest coming on in a moment, right? I've just confirmed. So you're going to love this, Mr. Shampoo's coming on. So Sabine, now, we go straight to the top of the charts. We've had everybody. I just want to say, Ron Dante, Gary Puckett, Michael Armstrong. We got people now coming from all around the world. It's such a big show that my diary now is filling up. But as you can appreciate, some people are busy and they can't come on straight away. But our next guest, I texted him. He's coming on within 5 minutes, and you're going to be surprised. And Mr. Shampoo, I know you'll give him a big rap, and you'll be surprised to see him. So you don't know who I'm talking about. So we'll just wait, and he's going to come on. So in the meantime, I want to say, Plastic EP is on the net 24/7. We're here to entertain you. I want you to know that. As I said, I started in March. I did my 400 show in March. I got another. What is it now? Let me tell you, 89 shows to get to 500. That's not hard. Actually, the way it's going, I can't wait for the 500 show because I reckon that will be the biggest show. Seriously, Sabine.
Yeah, I think so. That's
and I think I'm going to start organising it from now. While we're going through the 89, I think I'll start preparing from now. How's that?
Yeah. Well, I'm just hoping that, from the reaction I've had personally in the last week now, there's been a great feedback from my Facebook friends and a lot of really nice, kind comments. I just feel so grateful that you've given me this opportunity because you're the one that saw something in me and picked up on it, as Mr. Shampoo had noted earlier. So I'm very grateful to you, Plastic.
It's all right when I see talent, and I've got to say, you're an amazing talent. And coming in from the UK, I love it because, the great thing is with you as the UK connection, and you're listening to the radios 24/7, just about every show, I don't have to worry about going on the net because I'm filled in every day about what you're doing. That's the most amazing part.
Especially since I'm at home a lot more now, and I've got more time to go on the net, as you say, and also to listen to all my favorite radio shows. I'm actually juggling everything else too. I'm not Superwoman, but I know how to time manage. You learn, and but I make time for myself now, which is great because I'm retired from what I did before, and now I've got time to enjoy.
Fantastic. Now, fantastic guest is here, coming in from Los Angeles, Mr. Ram Ballard. You look $1 million, Ram. How are you?
For a guy crawling around the studio, we're revamping the studio here. So
That's amazing, Rand. Just amazing. Now let me tell you. Tell it, Mr. Nate, Mr. Shampoo wants to say he's been watching every single show that you do. And I'll introduce you to Mr. Shampoo, Nathan Liu.
hello, Nathan. Hello, Mr. Shampoo.
Hi, Rad. And I just wanted to tell you that, you've been on Plastic Show multiple times. Your stories are incredible. I mean, it's just one after another, and they're really interesting. And, what you do with those sequencer or computers or whatever they are, it's just amazing. What do you call it again?
Well, we call it programming, sound design and programming.
When you went on the road, these guys were referring to, what was it called again?
Sequences.
No, we'd use our high-tech sequencers. We had techs. We actually invented the term tech, technician, as opposed to roadies, because we sort of were a step above that as being programmers. And, we've taken everything out on the road from, synclaviers that are...
That's it. Sorry. And
everything.
And what I wanted to ask you, Ron, is what do synclavs do? Why did these people want you with them on the road? Was it playing backing tracks, or was it sequencing certain... What is it? What is it that is happening there with a synclav?
It's a bit of everything. Like on a big show like a Michael Jackson show, the synclavier is actually the heart of production, because we generate, by the time, Bad, we were sort of about halfway in the synclav and halfway live. By the time we got to Dangerous, the synclavier played a part in every one of the songs. And what it did is it's a sync to the entire show. So if you see the jumbotrons on the side and lights and everything going on, those are all timed by SMPTE, which is a code that television has used for years and we use. And from our synclaviers, because we play the main bits, right, including background vocals, multiple bass tracks, drums, percussion, to whatever that the band is playing along with, it has to be perfectly sequenced, all the stuff. So basically our stuff, if it didn't work, the show didn't work. And the company guaranteed you never missed a show, because it's really tough paying 60,000 people back $100 a piece. So you pretty much make that show. So that's what we did for a very long time. From the easiest things, from Amy Grant to running some backgrounds, to, like I said, the most high-tech Michael Jackson shows, everything is tied to the synclavs. So that's what I did for a very long time. And I also did it in the studio. So we had a very large, studio that basically everybody came over to get a whiff of the technology, because we were like a private showroom of all the latest things. And then any of their technical problems in the studio usually were solved over in our studio. So that's what we did, for everyone forever, for almost 20 years.
Now, Ren, I've got to ask you how you ended up in the UK, because that's world class what you did. How did you actually end up in the UK, and how long were you there for?
Well, what happened was, in the UK, when we were on the Michael Jackson Bad tour, we were like, you had to buy a ticket to come backstage to look at us. And pretty much, the ticket could only be purchased by Sting and Phil Collins and Eric Clapton, and pretty much everyone was interested, because that was the very first show to take such a technology on the road. That's the other thing we did. It's a very delicate studio technology. So we took it out on the road. We met a whole lot of people in England. A whole lot of people came back to see us. Peter Gabriel, George Harrison, Ringo. Everyone came back to see this little amazing thing that was happening backstage. So we made a lot of stuff there. The keyboard player, who was the music director for Michael Jackson, is Greg Phillinganes, who, if you don't know him, he's really one of the best. I mean, he started with Stevie Wonder, Michael, everybody, Lionel. And then working Michael, he jumped off Michael at the end of Bad to go to Eric Clapton, who is doing the 24 nights shows at the Royal Albert Hall. So once he jumped, we jumped with him, because he was sort of our main guy that we took care of a lot of stuff for. And that's how we met Eric in the beginning. And then meeting Eric and Mick Double and all the road managers and managers there that we went over and took care of things, it just sort of grew to where we had, at one time, at the same time, Elton, Eric, George Harrison, Ringo, it was just Dire Straits, it just The Who, Pete Townsend. They were all sort of interconnected with everybody's, the same managers, the same road people. And they saw that we were really good at making sure your stuff worked. So we started so much of it in England, it just made sense for us to open a satellite office in England. So that's how we ended up in England for a couple of years. We opened, which, if anyone's ever tried to open a business in the UK, it's a tough road to go when you're an American. You're bringing stuff to it. And, but we successfully did open an office there at Heathrow, which is where everybody has all of their gear, all of their storage stuff for their road gear. So we put our stuff there, and, between Los Angeles and the UK, we were quite busy for 20 years until I was so burnt out from doing tours. I basically would do the rehearsals, and then I would do like maybe a couple of weeks to a month or something on the more technical tours. I would go out on the road. But because we had other tours booked and I'm the main programmer, designer, I would jump off of those. And for, honestly, after the 7th Eric Clapton tour, it's kind of like a busman's holiday, right? You're like, hey, great stuff. This is great. I got other things to do. So, I have a series of texts. At one point, we had about 8 of them, 4 in the UK, 4 in the US, and we would send them out to sort of babysit the rigs. And what our company did too is we had a 24/7. So if something blew up or went down, the next day it was sitting at your gig. We had that kind of connection all over the world. So that's how we ended there. I ended up running all these people with all these quirky stories.
That's amazing. Ryan, can I just ask you, because we see quite often footage of the preamble to a gig, to a tour, say like the Rolling Stones, because I live not far from Heathrow. I live near Twickenham. And so we have the rugby stadium just down the road, like 5 minutes. And we've had some huge bands on, right? So I've been stewarding and crowd control, safety, that I've been doing that for quite a long time now. And so I get to see the gigs, but I also get to see all the guys rigging up the whole stage. And, it looks so complicated. The man force, it is just amazing how much time is allotted to getting this. But there must be pressure because obviously, the show's got to go on. And the guys have just got to get to it. And I'm sure they don't have many breaks, or, they don't have time to sleep, or, how long does it take to set up a whole stage, for a massive band, let's say like the Rolling Stones, or, with Michael. But it must.
With the Stones and with Michael, it takes, first of all, to go. Like when we rehearsed, you're by Twickenham, every one of our rehearsals were done at Twickenham Studios. That's where they also Let It Be, Hard Day's Night, and I was in the studio with George Harrison and Eric and stuff. And basically, the reason we use studios, or like in Los Angeles, we use Universal Studios. We rent one of the big sound stages, is because we literally have to. There's the band rehearsing, which we might start off in a smaller rehearsal hall getting things together, and sitting with me, like we sit and decide what sounds do we need, what sounds don't we have that we have to recreate, and so forth, make all the equipment work so the keyboard players and everyone's stuff is working. But then when you get to the big place, you have to fly all your lights and the jumbotrons and the whole thing. So what you have to do, and then we're syncing all that, so the lighting people are rehearsing, the sound people are rehearsing, right? Make
Yeah.
wardrobe rehearsing, the band techs and band crew are rehearsing along with everything because there's always things to do. You know, you
Yeah.
run cues every night. Like when you're listening to a show, you know, when you hear the beat gong, you know, I have to be over here to do this right now. You know, I mean, it's sort of a cue-based situation that you watch over.
Yeah.
It takes, like with a big band like the Stones and Michael, I would say you're generally in full rehearsals for about 3 months to get everybody all
Really.
together. And
Oh,
then what you do, you've got to get all your carnets, all your work permits. Like Michael has 150 people on the road. So every country we go into, we need work permits, you know,
yeah.
the whole nine yards. Hotel rooms for 150 people, food and catering and all the stuff that has to
Yeah.
go on and be coordinated. So it's like coordinating a big town or like an army to go someplace,
Yeah.
right? And then once
Yeah.
you're there, like the Stones and Michael, the stages, we set the stages up and all that you always see the big stages set up. Those aren't there. Those are ours that we have to set those up. Usually have
Yeah.
2 sets of those. The one stage is set up. The next one's going to the next gig to set up the stage so that when we arrive, we put up all the tech gear and the
Yeah.
lights. So it's you know, when you're running, usually you Saturday, Sunday show on the big kids, the Stones, the Who, because technical production, you sort of need some rest in between and travel time
Yeah.
to get to where
Yeah.
you're supposed to. Generally, it takes us about 2 days to set up for a gig when we're on the road, right? Because we have to check again, everything.
Yeah.
And then next night, you just come in and do a quick sound check, you know, before the
Yeah.
show to make sure everything's. I don't know if that helps. You know,
It's so like involving, and it's so like, you know, you have to be 100% about everything you do, and the safety issues, and you know, this whole thing of just getting everything to 100% has to be
yeah.
perfect, doesn't it?
Well, you said you did security, right? Like, for example, you know what happens when you have a big show in a big stadium, when they, you know, the floor is whoever you get is where you get to stand. So people come for 3 days before camp out, right? At least on the shows like Madonna and stuff that we did. And basically, as soon as they open those gates, they all run like madmen to the very
Yeah.
front barrier, you know, to keep them off the stage. What they
Yeah.
realize is that there's a ton more people running in. So they get smashed
Stampede.
against
Yeah.
the. I know you've seen it to where we pull people out. Our security sees people faint. And if you don't pull them out, we've actually
Yeah.
had deaths of people. They find them trampled underneath, you know, crowds of people. So, you know, it's like a big security, you know,
It
people
really
not getting
is.
backstage, people
Yeah.
stay. You know, most of our concerts are in the summer, so we have to, you know, you've seen it. We spray everyone down with hoses, you know, to try to cool them down,
Yeah.
calm, and
Yeah.
yeah, and they go nuts, and then we have them back in medical, and the poor people don't get to see the show. They'll keep in the medical tent the whole time to make sure they're
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
It's an art, you know.
It's a
It's
really
a war.
really huge thing to stage, to operate, and to just manage. Hats off to you all, especially you, because you know, to coordinate all that and all the personnel, you know, it's just a massive big job, you know. Yeah, I'm very
It's
impressed.
nerve-wracking.
I'm very impressed.
I mean, I didn't.
I also want to
I've done the
say,
math
Rand,
before, but
you got to tell me, you've played with a lot of people, you've organised bands for artists. Out of most of these artists, who gave you the most enjoyment working with?
well, you know, we've talked about this, I think, and it's like Chuck Berry was definitely the funnest to coordinate. You know, I happen to, you know, he only uses a band. He usually does 2 shows a night, so he'll use the same band. Hopefully, the drummer survives because he'll fire. If the drummer's not good, he gets fired. You better have 6 in the row behind him, right? Because it's like he's hard on the drummers, but he's really fun, and a really great guy to just sit and, have a beer with and whatever in between shows. And I did 2 shows with him, and he was doing 2 other nights, close proximity to where we were. So he just asked me, would you rather, why don't you do the rest of the shows with us with your band? I'm happy with you. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see Chuck pull up and, pull at the front, get out of his Cadillac, get his guitar. It was like being in a road movie, right? He pulled the Cadillac to the front, gets his guitar,
I want to show
with
you
his girlfriend
something.
under his arm,
Excuse me.
walks in front. And
Rand,
like,
I'd heard stories about Chuck Berry where he'd pull up after the show, he would go get paid right away, and he would take off in his car, and he had a whole collection of Cadillacs, and he never did a sound check with these bands. He would just get there and say, "Look, you just watch me, and that's how we do it."
Can I
Yeah,
just
the way
show
it
you
actually
something, man?
done.
This is Ronnie Wood's tribute album to Chuck Berry. Ronnie Wood.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I saw Ronnie 3 times when he was launching this album. And here's the thing. I actually danced on the stage with Chuck Berry at Hackney Empire 2008. He pulled me from my seat, not physically. He asked me to join him on stage because he saw me dancing in my seat. So he stopped the band and said, bring that chick on, bring all the chicks on. There's about 4 of us escorted onto the stage. Charles was there, his son and his daughter. And my goodness, and it's all on YouTube, Chuck and the Dancing Chicks. So check it out. There I am, center stage where the mic is. I'm center stage, man, And then I got to meet Chuck afterwards, and I gave him my picture, which is up there, behind me.
Right.
It's just up there. See the Abbey Road?
Nice.
That's Chuck Berry. I took that picture at a film premiere. And then Chuck gave me this.
Wow.
A picture plectrum. I know. I will treasure that.
Ah.
So what a man. I know.
Oh,
what a guy.
He's, some people have a hard time. To answer your question, Mr. Shampoo, basically, when Chuck gets there, he walks through the front door, which I asked him about, and he said Chuck Berry does not walk through back doors. Chuck Berry don't walk through no back doors. When he gets there, not at the end, he paid. Okay, you better have your cash in hand. The first thing he does is walk to the promoter, get his cash, head back to the trailer. Yes, he does not rehearse. He used to travel with his bass player, was his only constant companion. And the bass player knew all of the songs by as soon as Chuck started the intro. So he used to give us, and yes, we would sound check to make sure our shit was right. And then my guitar player would check, Chuck's amps and then he would just play. And bass player, when he would start a song, he would just look at us and go like, I don't know, because he'd go, which was E, right? C,
yeah,
right? That kind of stuff. F to the floor. And you just go, it's going to be 1, 4, 5, maybe it's minor in there, but I mean, you have to know the song to be able to follow the man, and that's what we did, we basically did that. So it was enjoyable. And so we had, there was no, like I saw this, what was it? Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll with Chuck and the Stones and all that. And he was jumping all over, Keith Richards back through that part. But yeah, that was one of the funner things, to do, as far as me playing with them,
That's amazing. Now, Rand, I want you to tell everybody.
What else, you guys?
I want to ask you about your new album and your new music. Now, I know you got it everywhere, even on SoundCloud. Can you tell me a little bit about it there?
Oh, it's a wolf.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's called 2020, and the wolf is looking through one of those eyeglass things. You get your glasses stuck to. And I did it in 2020 with everyone going, why would you name it after such a horrible year? And I said, it's for our 2020 vision, to the ability to see instead of follow. And I do like a progressive rock, like Genesis, Peter Gabriel, yes, type of stuff. I've been doing that since I've been 15. And, the album to me, I just felt, I had to take a break from it because basically everybody I worked for all these years left me no time for my own band. And after sort of retiring from all of these wonderful people, that's where then I decided after 30 something years to put the band back together and do the second record we should have done back in 86. So I started writing in 2019, and a lot of it's based upon, I think people are, they're following more than leading nowadays. Their leading isn't well explained. I think they're just kind of following the leader, letting social media tell them to do things and so forth, that I think that people need to just think for themselves, right? And do the best they can for themselves. Believe in yourself. As a musician out there, you got to give it up, because guess what? Your skin has to be, twice as thick as an elephant. You know this. And, you have to be able to take that with all the good, the bad, and just plugging at it, right? I'll never give up. I'll get buried with probably a master keyboard next to me. So, the record went out in 220. I waited until the year came up, and, it's doing pretty well now on Spotify, it's no, these current artists today where we have millions of hits, but, I'm up to the 10,000 marks on Spotify and on SoundCloud, the main ones, and it's up for sale on Apple Music and Bandcamp and all of those, so it was put out through a distributor. I made my own label back in 85 when I did the first one. So I sort of know how to kind of promote a record. And if anyone out there listens to this and gets a chance to look at Start.Rocks, is where it's at. It's pretty enjoyable stuff, right? And it's got a pretty positive message, right? Which I think is hard. And, it's actually played by musicians, and there's no loops or whispering or, there's no vocal tuning. It's all sort of done live into the sequencer. And,
I want everyone out there to go and get it. And as I said, even the artwork is amazing. Who did the artwork, Ran?
My son did that. He's a kind of
great.
Renowned art director. He does a lot of movies. He's done Brad Pitt movies, and a lot of he does titles and so forth. So he's a well-known art director in town, and whenever Dad needs something, he gets something done, doesn't he? I put him through school.
I love that.
Deserve it.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Shampoo, you got something to show us, have you?
Today.
I already showed you my guitar, so I don't have anything to show you. I don't have any monkeys or anything like that. But I wanted to ask Ron, are you guys still using the Synclav on your album at all? Do they still use a Synclav today with artists?
No. The Synclavs, like, for example, they were the cutting edge of technology in the late 80s through the 90s. My Synclavs, I own two of them, which I rented out onto tours and so forth most of the time. My one Synclavier, which was the big synthesizer one, cost $240,000. And my direct-to-disc, which was like a digital tape machine of the day, cost like $190,000. So it was quite an expensive task. The reason we had that is because a lot of people really couldn't have the technology, and to run these huge shows with multiple tracks and so forth, you needed it. Back towards the mid 90s to the late 90s, as we helped Avid develop Pro Tools, because we were like programmer, everyone came to us. So we helped that develop the Pro Tools that people use nowadays, which replaced these synclaves for about, a whole lot less. You're talking 50s to 75,000 as opposed to a small house, So as soon as that happened, we sort of weeded out the synclaviers, and now we use Pro Tools and a lot of the other technologies because they've been refined, and they can do what the other ones do. I mean, now I just did an album a while ago for a French artist that basically every one of our songs had upwards towards 160 tracks, right? Out of a 512 we have in this system. So, back in the old days, you used to have like a 24 track machine, right? Everyone knows the 2-inch, right? And it's like 24 tracks and that's all you got. You better be creative in 24 tracks. Now you can just keep going and going and go. So that's where technology is today. Basically, a synclav is replaced with a unit like this, if you can kind of see it, where it's just a big unit of Pro Tools.
Wow.
That's amazing, Ren. I just want to say, everyone go out and get Ren's album. He's on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. Listen to somebody who knows how to actually produce music, being an LA producer. Listen to someone who's worked with some of the biggest artists in the world, Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, George Harrison. I mean, the list goes on and on. But the great thing, Ren is one of the greatest guys you could ever talk to, and his stories just totally amaze you. Look him up on Facebook. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Go straight to the top of the charts. Go straight to the top of the charts. From 10
Anyway,
to 1, you got a show number 1 when you go straight to the top of the charts.